Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for watching. We're on to this last video for this Sportster project. And just a few last minute things that we need to get done, and hopefully she's going to fire off and then maybe a good test run after that. But we're going to go ahead and dig into it and just kind of take you guys along for the ride here. So really, all we got to do first is just get this carb on, which I've been harping on for, gosh, forever throughout the videos. But just a few things I want to point out before we do this, and this won't take very long. So this was for those of you that know, this was the accelerator pump. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's pretty good. That was taken out of it, but it was pretty bad. I mean, it was not only was it dry rotted and cracked, but even corroded inside. So between that and not even having the little plunger device or whatever would explain why this thing just not running well. But we did get a new gasket in here. If those of you that don't know, these CV carbs on these Harleys, they just kind of pop in. These are a known source to cause an intake leak. Usually you can reuse these, but since we're going this far on this bike, we went ahead and replaced it. We got a new fuel line. Hopefully that's routed good enough. I will find out. And when you put these things on, guys, one thing that I like to do on all the fittings, like the fitting for the fuel line, the fitting the way it sits into the carburetor or into the intake, and also here's your fitting up here for the vacuum line, which this is your vacuum line here. Put you a little grease on them. It helps to remove them because chances are we're going to probably have to pop this carb right back off, and it just helps setting up. And it's not going to hurt anything, trust me. Done that on fittings, on cars, trucks, everything throughout the years, so it'll be just fine. But anyway, let's get into getting this carb on, and then hopefully we're going to be firing this thing up within the next 30 or 40 minutes. Let's see if we can get this carb mounted. One of the things that's going to at least gives me the biggest pain when you're doing this, guys, is your cables. So your throttle idle cables. These Sportsters are actually easier simply because you've got all this space here, and these cables just kind of run underneath the ignition and down through here. On the big twins, they'll be hidden up in the tunnel up there, and it's just, they don't give you a lot of space, let's put it that way. So just go up to your adjusters up on the handlebars and just loosen those as best you can. And then also pay attention to the routing of your choke cable. Almost said clutch cable, that would have been wrong. To make sure you get on the right side, because I have gotten that wrong before after all the effort of running it like that, only to have to redo it. Definitely one of those ask me how I know moments. Everything's difficult. Here we go. Look at that. I even put a sheet down, of all things. This bike, of all the bikes, never thought I would do that. So we're going to start with, well, I could get this. It's almost like I got too much cable. It's nice to be able to work on this outside of being under that tank, if that makes sense. And then the idle cable. Come on, work for me now. Don't act funky on me. These are brand new cables and they are stiff. There, got it, barely. So what I want to do on these cables, if I can show you guys, is just try to tighten these up a little bit, if that makes sense. And the reason is because we don't want anything popping off. Let's put it that way, because those of you that have done these before know. See how good that is. Yeah, it should be good. Just a little bit. And we'll do the final adjustments once we get it mounted up. Alrighty. There is a lot going on here. Try my best to keep my arms and stuff out of the way of the phone or the camera. Trick is getting everything in place. Fuel line, to get the vent line on. Don't fall over on me. All right. And for my next trick, now this fuel line's being a little bit of a pain, but it's brand new. So it's understand. This is where having a little grease comes in handy. Okay, I think we're, is that good? I think we're on it. That fuel line was a bit of a pain, but that's fine. It's brand new. I'd rather have it be a tight, proper fit than something that just goes on too easy, and I don't think it's sealing up correct. So always check when you get these carburetors in, just check to make sure it's in the seal properly. Again, this one was brand new, so it was a little stubborn, but we got it. But our cables are in. Let's see, do we have throttle? Oh, that is so much better. So I don't know if you guys remembered how the throttle was before. It wouldn't even hardly work, but this is just, that's just perfect. That's just, I like it. Nice and snappy. Haven't even adjusted it yet. So we should be good there. We're going to tidy this up and get the breather back plate on and start getting that back on. But one thing I do want to show, if you're checking these, and this would apply for other carburetors as well, but if you don't know if your accelerator pump's working, of course, this is the pump down here, and this pushes a plunger down in there, and the fuel will literally shoot from here into the carb. Now, we don't have the bowl filled yet, and unfortunately, we're going to have to use the motor turning to fill up the bowl. But when you hit the throttle, just like this, that's when you're going to see some fuel squirt in there. So if you're unsure if your accelerator pump's working, that's the way to check. But when you do this, wear some eye protection. Just ask me how I know. Trust me, things can things can go the wrong way, let's put it that way. But we are going to get this back plate on, and we are going to actually try to fire this bike off. Can't wait. We are going to try to fire this bike off. It's come a long way. It's kind of an exciting time. So I want to just kind of show you what I did here real quick. The back plate, of course, is on and all that, but my PSA T or whatever for the moment is careful with the novelty Scamazon or eBay air cleaners and all that. This thing may look good, but even the inside of these Allens are already wallering out and everything. Just be careful when you buy these kind of things. I'm running this because it was on it. It's also got a cover on it that I don't necessarily like, but anyway, just a PSA for the moment. Just, these, and you want to be very careful with these screws when you put these in. These are only like 20 to 40 inch-pounds. So yes, I actually looked at the spec on those. Just be careful, because if you waller out any holes on that carburetor, it is going to definitely going to ruin the body of the car. But anyway, so off camera, I did go ahead and didn't run the bike, but I went ahead and cranked the motor over just to see if we got fuelage, and we did. So let's see if I can show you right here. You can see the gas shooting in. So that means our accelerator pump's working, check. And also our vacuum line that I was actually really concerned about is drawing enough vacuum to get fuel going into the carburetor bowl. So with that being said, let's see if she'll spark off. Or get some choke here. Where's it at? Gonna stay. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and give her one more squirt and see what she does. Wow. Never would have believed that. Fired right off. I'm impressed. She's ready to go. Of course, the bike was already running, so we're going to let her run a little bit, warm up. Because before, it would not even idle at all. I might have to mess with the idle speed, but not bad. So just to emphasize, I better turn the gas on. That'd be funny. Yeah, turn the gas on, dummy. When you do all your wires, all your ignitions and your oils and all that, just double check everything. Double check your lines, get your vent lines on, get your fuel lines on good. Make sure everything's good. And it should fire right off. Check for any leaks. So far, so good. That's tight enough. By the way, on these right here, be careful. These are plastic. They'll snap. That's why you see a lot of bikes with the choke won't stay out. They're easy to replace and cheap, but it's just a pain. Be gentle with them. Be good to them, they'll be good to you. Yes, I've snapped them before. Really ain't all that loud. So we're going to let her warm up here just for a moment and see if we can't get her to idle. Well, we got her out on the road and she runs. There's some decent news and some worser news. We'll get into that in just a second. And yes, that's a piece of tape. Wasn't necessarily keen on what that skeleton's doing, so I covered it. You can probably see through it anyway, but whatever. My favorite Amazon special product there. But the decent news is she runs straight and true. No issues with the front end whatsoever. Once the carburetor and everything, the engine warmed up, the carburetor ran pretty good. It's still lean, popping just a little bit off idle. Sometimes I don't like that, so I'm going to probably get in there and tinker with that a little bit, but that's minor. That can be fixed. I'm not worried about that. The worser news is the transmission. All 5 gears work. They're just hard to get to. Now, when we bought it, I only got into second gear because that's, quite frankly, as fast as I would ever consider getting that bike before. And I had a suspicion the transmission might be a little troublesome, but could be a shifter pawl adjustment. I don't know if I'm going to get in there and tear that sucker open and work on that or not, because it does work, and I hate to just tear into that since I've got another bike coming in, but don't know. It wouldn't be any extra cost. Oh, and then, of course, on the cost, yes, we are sub 500. So right now we're about $440 or $450 all in for a bike that literally will go down the road that was left for dead in basically a disgusting shed. So not too bad. Not too bad. I will take it. Hey guys, this is going to wrap up this video for part 3. This is a short one, but I hope you guys enjoyed the series. But it has been, this bike has definitely come a long way. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project. I know it's been a pretty big challenge for me, but we hope to have some new bikes coming on the channel soon. We actually have another Sportster waiting right now that we're going to be rolling in here soon to start doing some work on it. Not quite as involved in this one, but it's got some of its own problems, and hopefully some more bikes after that. So if you can, please subscribe to the channel and just stay tuned. We'll hope to talk to you guys soon.